They talk about me when they lonely, and if they didn't, we could probably share this all week. I'm just a skate rap, big fat 6-foot killer. Wicked fuck legend that be rolling with gorillas. Split this mop on your head, then I rock with the dead off top. If you talking, better stop. Big it slip, got a knot on your head. Ha ha ha, you a mess, get dropped. Pussy boy, we popping out all them who next. Juggalos in this bitch with the grit. You upset? My stomach hurt from laughing. Put this hatchet to your neck. Order a couple tacos with some nachos for the fam. Then bang the body up and get to riding in the van. Bang them up.
I ain't got a choice but to laugh at these frauds. Pop out on them like a fucking jack in the bar. I don't understand why they keep flapping. They try to bag them up like I'm working fucking jack in the bar. I ain't got a choice but to laugh at these frauds. Pop out on them like a fucking jack in the bar. I don't understand why they keep flapping. They try to bag them up like I'm working fucking jack in the bar. They hating on me like they know me, but if they did, we would probably be homies. I'm just a scrubby ass white trash juggalo. Maybe before you speak my name, pull that dick up out of your throat. Why you mad, bruh? You gon' get smacked up. I will make you disappear like abracadabra. Till you get the bag, that's a certified lie. The only bag that you touch is the one you fill with fries. Dog, I'll knock your block up, and I ain't joshing ya. You writing checks with your mouth, and it's costing ya. Spent all of the bread that you made on some brand name. Man, I'm about to rip it up your body like a band-aid. Pussy boy, I ain't got a choice but to laugh at these frauds. Pop out on them like a fucking jack in the bar. I don't understand why they keep flapping. They try to bag them up like I'm working fucking jack in the bar. I ain't got a choice but to laugh at these frauds. Pop out on them like a fucking jack in the bar. I don't understand why they keep flapping. They try to bag them up like I'm working fucking jack in the bar.
Hello, welcome. It's been a minute, but welcome to another edition of Whoops Up, Whoops Down, the Juggalo Movie Podcast, or whatever I want to fucking call it. And today, I have a very lot to talk about. A lot has happened to me in these last couple months, and it's just like the summer has just been building and building and building. Um, but I have a lot of stuff, a lot of reviews. I have like I think 5 movie reviews. I have some new CDs that have come out since then. Um, so yeah, so we have a lot to talk about. The Gathering lineup has also been posted. Um, so that's great news. Um, which I did buy my ticket and I got my car rented. So I'm going to the Gathering this year. So cool. A lot of movies going on there at the Gathering. The last time I was on here was with Humble. I got my rejection letter from the Gathering. So just see that there's tons of different movie stuff going on here. Like this I would say that this year's Gathering feels like a summer camp. A lot of stuff that's very summer campy-ish, and I'm really excited to try somewhere new. But anyways, where to start first. This episode's mainly focused on the Odyssey, just because I just saw that movie that's so fresh in my head, but we're gonna build towards it and get to the Odyssey. I saw a lot of movies before that really shaped how I feel about the movie season this year, because this is a summer of flops. I didn't see Master of the Universe and I didn't see Supergirl. So a lot of flops this year. So, but there's a lot of success here too. Obsession is a big winner, and I will be reviewing that today. Obsession. We'll be talking Evil Dead Burns. We'll be talking about Disclosure Day. We'll be talking about the Minions. We'll be talking about the Odyssey. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I saw. And I can talk briefly about the two Shrek movies I've watched, but I'm going to hold off that and when Shrek 5 comes out and hold my thoughts on that because I'll probably be revisiting those movies again around Shrek 5, so next year. Okay. And I saw the Birdcage with my mom, and my mom's downstairs. And I'm just trying to quickly go through this because there's a lot to talk about and want to get through here as much as possible. So we're going to start with a movie that I saw, Disclosure Day, the new Steven Spielberg film. I mean, I'm a Spielberg fan, so I kind of had this, you know, I think the last Spielberg movie I saw in theaters was West Side Story, and that was actually really good. That's a good musical. I had a good time with that. I watched that in IMAX. That was back in 22. I know. I think it's November 2021. It's when West Side Story came out. I didn't see The Fablesman, which is based on his life. Everybody thought it was pretty good, but Disclosure Day is going right back to those alien genres. He has 3 other films that had to deal with aliens. You have third kind, Close Encounter of the Third Kind, E.T., War of the Worlds, and then this one. Emily Blunt, how I had some good wheels for her with movies I've seen before. So, I mean, I'm just going in for, Steven Spielberg. He's a great director. Let's see what he has. So, let's pull this so you can see some of the imagery so you can click on what, like, Disclosure Day was. All right, we're going to share screen, share. Boom. 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 Okay. So Disclosure Day is an aliens movie per se, but it's more of a conspiracy kind of like we spend most of the time with these characters that knows this secret, and then there's another organization trying to stop them from releasing some of these files to the world that basically disclose that aliens are real, and I think the way Steven Spielberg directs the movie, it's very efficient. But I do think some of the pacing was kind of off. I liked Emily Blunt. I liked the other guy that was in the movie, and I think what they do together is fun. But this movie is it's very simple. Get to this, meet these people, take this information to this people, talk like that. But I think what really is interesting is what Steven Spielberg uses these aliens' powers for, and kind of like keeping you in this conspiracy, this plot. And Emily Blunt's like side stories kind of where the fun and like family or like more the familiarity for us, the audience coming in. This actually feels like more of a sequel to the Close Encounters, because that's talking about more about you're seeing aliens and stuff like that. No one believes you, and there's kind of like questions. I think this movie is more about questioning about if aliens are real. What's that? How do people with religion feel about it? I think that's kind of like this. And I listened to a review, and someone's like, "This is a boomer way of telling it." And I guess the only reason why I think that's probably true is that it does like, hey, the plot is to take this to the news station to broadcast it on the news. Okay, that's such a boomer way of thinking because not everybody consumes the news via the local broadcasting or or even getting away from the cable news stuff. Like news is so like news today has like such a bad word because fake news but I think this one shows that Steven Spielberg has faith still in the journalism and stuff like that and the importance of having a news. But I actually really enjoyed it. I think the performances were really good, but the problem is kind of like the movie is over about 2 hours, and I felt it. There's a certain point in the film where it just felt a little long and kind of boring a little bit. Um, but when there's a car chase scene that Steven Spielberg does a really good job with directing and um, keeping things exciting when it does. And I think the ending is I like the ending a lot. I think that is a good way to tie the bow, but it's not my favorite Steven Spielberg film. It's still good. It's not great. It's not bad or any sense. I think if you give it if you give the movie your time and you're going in there with like not high expectations but kind of like low expectations, I think it's gonna meet some of that mark. I think their video files you watch that's pretty interesting. I think the bad guys are fake effective, and they use this alien technology that's very interesting to explore more. And I think you'll be having these questions in your head about the day. This stuff right now is happening in our own life, timeline where the government is issuing things about UFOs and UAPs and stuff like that. So it's like Steven Spielberg's trying to ask us these questions of how we feel when the truth comes out that these aliens do exist, and how that much will change the world, and how wars are so petty and stuff like that because there's like a bigger world outside than just ours. Um, but it's an old man asking these questions that has old man sentiments and stuff like that. So it's just like I don't know how well it would connect to younger generations, maybe older generations who could probably understand that would be better. I think I might have been the youngest person in my theater watching that one. But it's a solid whoops up. I still think it's a well-made movie. There's nothing really that annoyed me. I think once the movie started and I was into it, except for when it got a little slow towards like the middle part. But I think you guys will have a good time. So if you were into alien movies and conspiracy movies, all the government plot movies, like all the Kingsman, um, stuff like that, I think that will be up your aisle. It's more of that than like an alien invasion movies. Like the aliens are like there, but they're not like the main focus. There's other things going on that push it that the aliens are there, but not like Independence Day or stuff like that. It's not going to be that. Kind of how Close Encounters is a little bit. I think if you watch a double feature of Close Encounters of the Third Kind with this movie, I think they would link up pretty well. Be a long night, but it would be something worth watching. Okay, so moving right along. After I watched Disclosure Day, I finally got around and watching Obsession, which is a movie that I kept hearing about. It was a movie that I think it came out late May, something like that. I think it did. I think it was supposed to because the last movie I saw in theaters in May was Mando and Grogu. That's the last episode I did on Oops Down was Mando and Grogu, and I think Obsession came out either the week or before or after. And the movie Backrooms also came out. So there's kind of these low budget horror films that kind of like won early summer. A lot of positive buzz. I kept hearing about it, like how Obsession is #1 in the box office, and it just keeps going and keeps growing. And they made a lot of money with a low budget. And low budget films, I don't think that like all films need to be $250 million. That's asking way too much. I think you could tell an effective story with a lower budget and still be able to, students will be able to get their money and still get a good quality film. I think sometimes when we pour too much money into a film, the quality of the story kind of goes down because where are you spending that money on, kind of thing. With horror films, you don't really need to spend a lot of money on, say, visual effects or anything. You just gotta have a good, uh, like a little plot point. And I think with this one, when I saw the trailer, I think I was interested because the Wishing Willow concept. I wrote a script in film school with a similar concept that I was like, okay, cool. So like I wasn't, too far off of thinking it ways like this. My characters were younger, but there was like something that he had to do that caused something to happen, and um, we meet this character Bear, and I think I think what's so effective about the movie is effective about your main character Bear, and questioning his actions when, especially when it comes to Nikki, the girl that he loves and stuff like that. I think a lot of people watching this could really easily relate to the film because we always had that person that were our friends, but we might have liked them more, and we wanted to make a move when we were scared. All right, so well, like this is like, what if Bear got his wishes in a way, but anytime you have a wish movie, like a genie movie and stuff like that, be careful what you wish for because it's never going to be like what you want. And seeing like, and I think the actress who played Nikki did a really good job. Oh, let's get a little look at the obsession here. All right. So that's Nikki right there. That's our main character. That's Bear. So it's like you are looking these two characters like each other and stuff like that. Well, Bear likes Nikki, and I think it's just this how this wish happens and how the movie goes from there. I think it really picks up. It kind of gave me an It Following vibe when I remember watching It Follows. You got to think about that has an easy concept. You have sex, you die kind of thing, and it was a low budget film, and it had a great soundtrack, which this one does as well. The director Barker does a really good job with. There's a lot of reference to other horror films and stuff like that in there too, which I really enjoyed. Um, but I liked how the movies how it's paced. It's paced very well. It's under 2 hours, which is like once again so that's a good idea. Like movies don't need to be 3 hours long sometimes. Like if it's not warranted. Whoop whoop. Hey, thank you so much. Um, but I so with Obsession, like I really dig that camera, like with camera work, especially with shadows, especially with there's these two versions of Nikki's, and like sometimes you get like we don't know which one's the real one, and I think it really does a really good job for even repeat viewings because there's a lot of like hitting things and stuff like that. Like as a straight horror film, it's really good, and as the movie builds and builds towards the end, it gets crazier and crazier, and you're just like whoa. And I think what I like about the film as much is that we debate about is this guy Bear a good guy or not, and I come to the situation like no, he's not. But a lot of people can see a lot of themselves in those characters, and it's a very small cast. It tells a story and it gets out. So it was a very it was a surprise to see that movie. And I'm glad this excitement and the word of mouth remind me is like I said, It Follows, um, and The Substance. Like this small little horror film is blowing up, and I can't wait to see Curry Barker's next film. Because I think that guy has legit talent. Um, legit, like his camera work was pretty good, and the way he used shadows on a fucking movie that was made less than $1 million. It's crazy. Okay, so for Obsession, it's a double sub. I mean, it's a solid film. Like, if you like horror films, watch it. I think it's horror, but I think you can probably get people who it's not like my next film I'm going to talk about, right? Obsession is more like it's a suspenseful horror that goes crazy towards the end, kind of like The Substance. The Substance was you know it was suspenseful and kind of creepy, right? But then you get to the final act, and that's when the things go really off the deep end, and then it comes a really horror film. I did find some stuff with Obsession funny, um, so like it made me laugh. But yeah, so solid whoops up to Obsession. I'm glad I saw it. I was the only one in the theater when I watched it, so that was like I got my own private showing. But yeah, go see it if you haven't. I think it's on streaming now, so I think it's a perfect thing for it. But I think if you miss it in the movie theater, I think you miss something good in the theater. Okay, all right, on to the next film. Okay. All right. All right. Well, I know that you're still. I know that you're still. If you're still here, Bobby. Um, guys, I need you guys to come on before the gathering. Yeah, I would like have one of you get you a Jiggy on, or me come on your show. It's been a while since I'm back outside, as they say. I was inside for a lot of time. Um, I went on vacation to South Carolina. That was fun, and then when I came back for South Carolina, my grandfather passed away, um, and I kind of been in the house for a while, just to laying low as I deal with that. But I missed you guys, and I can't wait to see. Um, I know it's not the Hilltop Gang anymore because they're not at Legend Valley, but I'm excited to see what uh, what that will bring. What our new area will be called. But anyways, all right. So the next film. So after I watched Section one day, right, and then the next day I watched Evil Dead Burns, and I loved. I'm a big I'm a big Evil Dead fan. I've seen all the movies. I think even this year I watched Evil Dead the original in theaters, which was really cool. So Evil Dead Burns is the sequel to Evil Dead Rise, kind of. It's kind of like these events are happening after the Evil Dead Rise, which I highly enjoyed that one. I enjoyed the 2013 remake. I saw that in theaters. I originally went back and watched Evil Dead 2. I actually watched the first Evil Dead before watching the remake, so I was caught up. Evil Dead 2, loved a lot. And then Army of Darkness is really good as well. So I was excited seeing this movie because I like Evil Dead. I love the Deadites and I love what they do. I think there's a lot of like if you watch any of the other Evil Dead films, they're fairly simple, right? In in the case where it's just like, well, the first movie they're just kids going to count and read a book of the dead. Boom, get off me. All right, boom, dead. Evil Dead 2 is the same thing, right? It's just retelling of the first one with some more details. Um, the third one is a fucking medieval movie, right? And then the remake, Back to the Cabin, where Evil Dead Rise was the first time we saw something new, even though it's kind of the same concept, except we were stuck in an apartment complex with the Deadites. This one does something different as well with the Deadites that I find fascinating a little bit. This film has had a lot of buzz to it. Good and I always say polarizing, mixed. Um, this movie's brutal. It is rough and intense. Like, um, it's a film about domestic violence and family trauma. Um, with some deadites in here, and then some of them it can be brutal. But I enjoyed it. I liked it. I think a lot of people enjoyed Evil Dead 2 more than Evil Dead 1, which Evil Dead 2 is more of a slapsticky fun thing. So they kind of want that. I think a lot of people who like that slapsticky fun stuff is not gonna this is not your jam. This is like 2013. This is like the first one and a little bit like Rise, where some of it is gonna be hard to watch. But we got some new things here with doing the Deadites. This is the first time in the Evil Dead series where the Deadites have a motivation. They're trying to do something other than trying to rip your soul or trying to like convert them to another Deadite. Like, no. And technically the book didn't get read. Like, it's there, but it's not about that. And I actually really enjoyed this director's the way that he was framing everything, his one takes, one shots uh, that he would do in the film to keep the anticipation and just kind of like keep you on edge. I liked it. It's not my favorite Evil Dead. I actually like them all, so it's kind of hard to rank them. Um, but it's not as bad as people are saying it is. I think that just this film has a different flavor and wants to do something different than what has come before it. Um, but it's a solid whoops up. Evil Dead Burns, solid whoops up. If you like the series, the Evil Dead series, I think you're gonna like this one. Um, you might not love it. It might not be your favorite, but still think you're gonna enjoy it. And we're gonna get a new Evil Dead film. I think next year. Evil Dead Wrath, which is supposed to be a prequel set in the 70s. So that's interesting that they're doing this. It's interesting that Sam Raimi and the other producer who did the first one are helping making these ones right here and kind of keeping the spirit of Evil Dead in here. Because like even though it's a different director, the spirit of Evil Dead's still there. The Deadites are still fucked up. The kills are still there. They're still playing with the claustrophobicness of being stuck in a place with these things. But I still think there's room to grow. There's more things you could do here that I think has never been explored before. And I'm excited to see what they do next, especially because the next one's a prequel. So the one that they pick up from this for after the prequel is going to be totally different of what they're setting up based on the post credits scene. But horror films having a solid year. Now, Backrooms did not see that. On my list, I didn't watch the the stuff on YouTube, so my familiarity with Backrooms is not there. The trailer looked interesting. I just didn't. A lot of stuff was going on in my life at the time, so couldn't find my way to the movies. Okay, so after I watched that, I, on my birthday, I had another film come out. And I saw, and my partner Kiki is a fan of the Minions movies. They like the Minions; they're silly and stuff like that. So when the new Minion, I saw Despicable Me 4 with them. I think I did a review for it on this channel. It's deep in the archives. Illumination is okay. I don't think they're great a great animation company. They focus a lot on lower kids and stuff like that. Despicable Me movies, I've seen a few of them. I've seen a few of the Minions. I just not my thing. Didn't like their take on what is it? I didn't see the Grinch Illumination film. I didn't. There's a lot of Illumination film I didn't see. I just don't like their style. I'm more of a Disney, Studio Ghibli, and stuff like that. But I want to see this for them. So, what really got me interesting in what they're going to do is the setting of the film is in the 1920s, right? Which is the like silent era of films going into to talkies and stuff like that. That's kind of where the setting of the film is. And me being a film nerd, film a student who studied film, they seeing stuff, a lot of stuff in the history of film, like this film does a lot of good, like puts respect on you know what, I got another one I gotta tell. So this one right here, I think what it had like it, even though I'm not into the Minions, I think this movie right here tells a story about the history of film. Most certainly, a lot of people don't know. And like I found out that Trey Parker from South Park plays this character right here, this Cthulhu character, and you can sometimes hear the Eric Cartman voice in there, but honestly, I just think this movie is okay in a sense. Like it's all right. At the end of the day, it's a kids film, so you gotta lower your expectations and about entertainment wise what they find entertaining and stuff like that. But what I enjoyed a lot about the film is the film history part. The beginning of the movie is my favorite. The way they do the credit scenes with the Minions, like how they've been here in history with the opening thing you see from the movies is the first film recorded, which is really interesting and fun. I think that is a strong suit of the film is when they speak on history. Um, but the overall plot of it is kind of, I don't know. It was kind of it was just like drinking water. It was going down easy. I wasn't thinking too much. Um, but I think the people who are into those movies will find them enjoyable. I'm not gonna rag on it. It's just not for me. It's a film that if I'm it's not a film I usually don't watch, but I watched it with my partner, and that's all I cared about was spending time with them and able to share something with them like that. And I took my godmother went with me too. So yeah, so the minions a monster gets a whoops down. Not my thing. If you're if you like those kind of movies, I think you're gonna like it. It does the same thing. Minions do crazy stuff. Blah blah blah. Blah rinse repeat. Kind of they just gags. Just not my flavor. Just not what I'm into. Um, and I talked about this. It's remind me that I actually saw another movie that I was almost completely skipped. And I also saw the new Toy Story film, Toy Story 5. Grew up with them. I mean, the first one came out in 95 and I was 2. So I grew up with the first and second one. I saw those in theaters. I was 17 years old when I saw Toy Story 3. So I was the same age as Andy. So that's why the third one's always my favorite because it just emotionally clicked on me. Toy Story 4, I did see that in theaters. It made me cry a little bit, and I thought it was like the last thing we're gonna see from Buzz, but it wasn't as good as the other trilogy, but it was okay. So Toy Story 5, when it finally came out, I didn't know how I felt about it until I saw the lily pad character. I'm like, oh, cool, technology and toys. Everybody being like kids being, on tablets now or on screens. What's that do with toys? And I think the way that Toy Story 5 is trying to explore that is very is interesting. Um, but let me say this: is like it's a good movie. I actually had a good time watching Toy Story 5. There's some jokes in there. I like how Jesse is the main focus. Like, yes, they said goodbye to Woody, and Woody does come back, but it's still the Jesse show. It's not like Woody came back, and he's in control of everything. No. They just brought him back for some plot points and stuff like that. But it's Jesse's story, and it goes with some deeper issues. There's a cyberbullying theme here, and how kids play with their tablets and stuff like that, and how do kids make friends today. There's like some questions there, and it still has that heart to it. Um, there's a lot of new characters that are like that have to do with technology is pretty interesting, and the clash between toys and tech. And there's segments with these new buzzes that are sometimes funny, but sometimes kind of horrifying when you think about it, especially when um, it's like there's going to be maybe a connection but kind of like a middle ground where tech and toys come together, and you put AI and toys and stuff like that. It's kind of where these buzzes are kind of going with. So it's interesting. I think if you like the Toy Story films, I mean, you're gonna like this movie. It does things that all the Toy Stories do, but it's done very well. I actually think this is better than the fourth film. Um, because it's not trying to be like those other Toy Stories. And like the way that Bonnie is the new owner of the toys. So the way that Bonnie plays with the toys is illustrated so well with the animation. And I just seeing how far Pixar has come with the animation, the way that Jessie hair, it looks so defined, like it doesn't look like a ribbon hair. It looks great. I think the animation's fantastic. It's probably the best animation we've seen so far this year. There's other movies coming out this year, animation wise, that got me interested to see where that goes. But the way the toys look, I was just like, wow, they're just it looks so real. I liked the movie a lot. So it's just still gonna get a solid whoops up. It's not like the greatest thing on sliced bread. It might be a while before I see Toy Story 5 again, but solid whoops up. If you have kids, they're gonna enjoy it. It's gonna be a good time. It's a good way to connect with them. It made a lot of money. It's not a flop. Um, and I think it asks the question about using screen time and play time, like trying to find a way to find a medium to the thing because the technology can be helpful, but to that technology could be bad, kind of thing. But we still need it. Um, but yeah, yeah. So Toy Story 5, solid whoops up. It's pretty good. Okay, next is the film that came out on Friday last week, the new Christopher Nolan film. This is his film after winning the Oscar. He won the Oscar for Oppenheimer, best director, best picture on that one. Personally, I felt that Poor Things, that was the year Poor Things won all the production stuff. Oppenheimer won all the other awards. I felt Poor Things is a better movie than Oppenheimer, but it still won all the awards. Congrats to that. And I actually really enjoyed Oppenheimer. Um, and it was another 3 hour long film that I think, now here we are with Odyssey, that came out 3 years after um, Oppenheimer. It's already been 3 years. Um, so how's he gonna do it? He's gonna do it with a Greek mythology poem by Homer called the Odyssey, which I've seen all brother are out there. I've seen things that are based on the Odyssey. I think I've seen Troy like way back in the day, way back in the day. But the Odyssey is something I don't know by heart, but I like Greek mythology and stuff like that. But the I would say the trailers for these things for this movie was got me. And one thing I like about Christopher Nolan is that he is a student of the craft. He cares about filmmaking. So when he makes a film, there's always an intent. There is a design plan, the way that things feel, the way that things look, the journey that we go on. It is scripted. And when it comes to him, Christopher Nolan, he likes playing with time and how a story is structured. And I like the way, kind of how this movie is kind of structured a little bit. It's kind of Godfather 2 ish, especially in the beginning. We're going back and forth from the past to the present. Um, with Tom Holland being the son and everything, it's like everything. We're going back and forth. I think what the strong thing about this film is the authenticity that it brings. It's like when we're on the ship with Odysseus and his crew, we actually feel like we're on the ship. We're in tight quarters. Like this isn't a Trojan horse. Like we are in these tight spaces. I think we feel them apart. There's a lot of it's a 2 hour and 50 some minute movie, and I will say it doesn't feel it. You don't feel it. It kind of, if you go with it, with the movie, the journey you're going on, it is done pretty well. The story of you're not gonna see any Greek gods in this movie. Okay, you're not gonna see look at that. Like we're in it. Like that's the thing I like about Nolan right now. I think he's finding that authenticity to it. Like he's not heavily relying on CGI. I mean, even think about the Batman films. A lot of his stunts were done live. Like he did, there's a skydiving scene or a balloon scene in Batman, or the gliding in Batman, right? Or in the Dark Knight Rises, they take over that plane in the beginning of the movie. That was done actual, ran through and filmed through that way as it happened. Kind of does the same thing here, where we're in the boat, where I feel like we're out. These things, when we're outside in these places, we feel like we're outside. Like it feels like we're in the story, and the way that he plays with the timeline is a way to tell his story about war and about the what happens after the victories of war and how you should feel like, and Matt Damon basically going through traumas of winning a war and the price of that. Um, I think it's a fantastic movie. And as of right now, other than Obsession, like I think Obsession is like, and I didn't see uh, the Hail Mary Project, which I'm kicking myself for not seeing. This is the best film of the year right now. I don't know if anything's gonna beat it until we see Dune 3. I think Dune 3, which I saw a trailer for, Dune 3 could easily be the best film of the year, because also the year that Oppenheimer came out was supposed to be Dune 2 was supposed to come out, and I think like if it was Oppenheimer versus Dune 2, Dune 2 is a better film than Oppenheimer. So here we are again, and I like Denis Villeneuve. So that would have been a tough Oscars that year. But Dune 3 is coming up in December. Doomsday is coming up. That's not going to be Oscar contender. But if you think about Oscar wise and thinking about movies that can win an Oscar, I'm looking at one and saying, wow, it's worth your time going seeing on the biggest screen that you can find it. Okay. Score is done pretty well. It moves, right? There's when it's time to feel intense, like a tense scene, the score does a good job, and the pacing it gets you like a little antsy off like at the edge of your seat kind of thing. I think Matt Damon does a really good job as Odysseus, and I really go through his struggles. Coming back, like leaving Troy after victory and sailing back to his home. Um, I think a lot of the actors do a good job here. I think there's like a lot of scenes that's like almost pretty horrifying. Like you're almost in a horror film. Like I think there's a lot of everything for everybody here. Where I think it's a roller coaster of a movie, like a blockbuster film done right. Because it's focusing on filmmaking first before the spectacle, right? It knows it's a spectacle, but it wants to make sure that it gets a lot of the filmmaking done well and respectful and make it authentic. So when you watch it, you're not seeing anything cheap. It doesn't look cheap. Um, I mean, he pulled the stops, and I think that he might win another Oscar, like almost like a back to back, because he's on a roll right now. So yeah, solid whoops up for the Odyssey. I mean, I feel like it's a movie you gotta see in theaters. Like you could wait till you get home, but I think the impact of watching it in an IMAX theater or or the biggest screen you can find is worth your time watching, just because it's that good. It is worth the hype. It's worth. I mean, like, let me get to this real quick. More of what I've been hearing when the movie started coming out. This bullshit with woke. Oh man, they cast people who are not white or Greek in the movie. You know, Lupita Nyong'o plays Helen Troy. Um, you know, Ellen Page is in the movie, a trans man. Oh my god, the right are just losing their fucking mind. The Odyssey is a work of fiction. Who gives a fuck who's who, right? This is not history, right? This is just ancient literature. It's a little different, and I just think, and I see this a lot in the Juggalo community right now too, with wokalos is what it's called, and some of the old heads are just tired of these wokalos. Fuck you, first of all, because Juggalos have always been woke, right? We're anti bigots, right? And being woke is to be is to be able to see that the racism, to see the bigotry, to see the injustice. So when you're anti woke, I'm anti woke, then you're racist as fuck. You are a bigot because you are looking at a black person in anything and going, "Oh, they should have gotten that part because it hurts my feelings." Like you're the biggest snowflake ever, and then like Juggalos supporting ICE or Trump is dumb. You're dumb. You're not listening to the music. You're not listening to the ideas, the ideology. You homophobes. Like, there ain't nothing wrong with gay people. And guess what? Be happy that this culture is getting younger. There's more younger kids are coming in here. And guess what? Those younger kids are gay as fuck. So we're just gonna have to get used to it, my guy. And look at your bigotry and ask why do I have a problem with these, these people trying to live their lives just like you are. Because the people who are in the film that you have to complain about in the Odyssey are not in the movie that long. No. And you look ridiculous when the movie is actually really good. And you just look like an asshole. So I mean, we are definitely split. I feel like a lot of the old heads just wished it was the fam era over and over again, but the fam era died, and the fam era died for a reason, because of greed, just because of greed. But that's for another time. But honestly, 2 thumbs up. Okay. Also, I've been collecting CDs again. I got off the streaming services, so I gotta collect some shit. And during my month off, I have gotten some new stuff. So I mean, just to highlight some of the stuff here, I got the new The Wacko the Kid one. Gotta grab it. It's actually a good CD. I like it. I got the DJ Clay Let 'Em Bleed Volume 5. I like the disc. I haven't listened to all of it yet. But I got it. I gotta get it. When Shaking the Airheads on there doing something, I had to get it. So, Sixla was the new Ouija Mac album that came out, I think, last month. I listened to it. It's like how I feel about Ouija Mac's albums at first is that I don't know if I like it. But this one kept growing on me. But there's no Devereaux beats on this one, or no Shaking the Airhead beats. It's another guy, Little Mexico. I think his beats are pretty good. Some of them sound a little repetitive, a little bit to me, but there's a lot of songs that when they hit, they do hit. God's Ashtray felt like a Hell's Pit song. You can find that track on Hell's Pit. Out the Jungle is one of my. I think Ouija goes on that beat very hard. Funky shit, pretty dope. Sour, I think it's sourdough toast. I don't have I got the special edition, and actually the special edition song is it's okay. It's not one of my favorite Ouija Mac albums, but it's the one that I did like and enjoyed. Let's see here. I got me a copy of the Forgotten Frederick's Volume 1 and 2. Didn't have it. Now I do. Bangers. I had, Hey Vato's on here. Fat Sweaty Betty, Willie Bubba. Got Graveyard, which got feet like that's the Graveyard song got sampled in Pyramid Skulls. I Didn't Mean to Kill Him. There's a lot of good stuff on here. I grew up on this little thing, and I love this one. Reindeer Games, Killjoy Club. I love this album when it came out. I think, the Mafia 6 and ICP are really good on this one. This is, right before when shit hit the fan, truly. This is right before this Joker's card came out, like 2013, I believe. So, good album. Eye of the Storm. Yeah, buddy. Has the bus on here, but there's other songs here. The Madness. Scatterbrain. Through the Kill is pretty good too. This is the album after the Tempest. So so I had to get that. My collection is growing to the point where I don't even know where to put all of it. I got 2 Rider albums. Psychopathic Riders Dumping and Psychopathic Riders Riding Dirty. Mikey Sears speaks highly about this album. Thinks it's the best. Psychopathic Riders. I actually think this is the, Dumping is the better one, the first one. And I try to listen to this one again. I listened to it the first time a couple of years ago, and I just couldn't get into it. This one, I couldn't get into it again. And I think it's one major problem with this album right here. The one that I probably won't listen to very often. I just have it in my collection at this point. Twisted and Blaze, your dead homie, cannot stop saying the N-word in every song. Every song. Dumping, few times. There's a few songs that say it, and there's some songs they don't even do it. And a lot of bangers on here. This one, every single track, they say the N-word. So it's kind of like, and every time they do it, I wince. It's like, oh man, I don't even know. I can't listen in this car with my partner. No, like this, I don't even know when I would be able to like rock this album out all the time. So to me, this is the most overrated album right now. Like this because of this could have been great when it came out, but hindsight's 2020 now. Going back to an album that came out in 2001 to now, this one is heavily dated with the things they do. And it's because of Twisted and Blaze. It's almost hard for me to get into the Jay and Shaggy tracks that are on here, verses, is because of them guys. These guys ruined this album. They almost ruined this album. But they don't. This one's pretty good. This is my all-time favorite Psychopathic Riders. Then the one with Esham, which they don't. Blaze and Twisted don't say the N-word where Esham's on the track, but they feel very comfortable doing it here. So, a relic of the time, but I do have it now. Also, because I'm a big fan of this guy, I got pretty much the Kendrick Lamar's discography right here. I'm a big Kendrick Lamar fan because I'm a fan of hip hop. At the end of the day, I'm a juggalo, but I'm also a fan of hip hop. So I mean, I got Good Kid, Mad City, one of my favorite albums of all time, To Pimp a Butterfly. You have the Untitled Unmasters. Of course, you got to get Damn in there. Mr. Morale and the Big Stepper, an underrated gem right here. A lot of these songs played at my wedding. This helped me through my depression when this album came out. Like I really felt the stuff that he was going through when I listened to this album, and it still hits. I also got GNX, of course, and then I found something on eBay where some guy was selling the beef on the CDs. So because I don't have streaming services, a lot of the stuff in the beef, when the beef was going on, I can't listen to. This actually had Euphoria, 16 LA, which you can't get. Meet the Grams are not like us. The one thing that sucks about this CD is they're not like us is censored, so it makes it kind of corny and trash. But whatever. I got to listen to the music, and then I tell you, man, not listening to streaming anymore. It just shows you the quality of CDs and the sound that they have, because it sounds a whole lot better than listening to the streaming. Not done yet because I got other stuff here. My favorite Esham album, Close Casket. I love this album from front to back. I think this is one of his best albums right here. I know it's probably controversial, but Close Casket. And I love when he plays any song from this album. We got the Dark Lotus Black Rain. This is the first ever Dark Lotus album I listened to from front to back. And it's probably why I prefer the Yellow Cross of Dark Lotus. For Tales of the Lotus Pod, I prefer the Yellow Cross because I listened to the Black Rain first. And having ABK in it and stuff like that. It's very interesting. And I mean, when we talk about Dark Lotus, we don't, and the members of Dark Lotus, except for ABK, are also on this album, 3 years apart. Twisted and Blaze feel so comfortable saying the N-word on these tracks. They don't do it on these tracks. And you can, it is crazy. The contrast between this album versus the other albums that they do together. And then and it makes it this one such a more like a relic, where this one I love so much. I mean, Consume Your Soul, Corrosion, My First Time, Hell House, Jump Off, uh, Death Don't Want You. Love that one. I used to listen. I used to listen to this a lot when I worked at Kmart. Um, I used to put up signs. I've been listening to this album all the time. I also got the Three Headed Monster CDs. I think Rampage is my favorite of the Three Headed Monsters. That's why I had to track this one down because there's a lot of good shit like End of Days and Bulldozer are on here, and I fucking love them. This one's pretty good too. Three Headed Monster. That tour was the first tour I went on. First show I went on that got me back into the Jug community. Like if it wasn't for the Three Headed Monster tour, I don't know if this show's here. I don't know how I would go to so many shows or anything like that. Like this is the first one. Firebreathe is pretty good. Crushing, Clownzilla, Juggalo for Jesus, Don't Sell Your. I actually this album's pretty great too. I just prefer this one way more because it feels like they did this while on like after like the first leg they did this album, and you can tell when they did this album the chemistry and the ideas are flowing on that one too. All right, I got one more to do, and then I can hop off here. And I'm trying to make this fast because there's just a lot to go through, and if I sit here and talk for 2-3 hours, I mean I could. The last thing I got the Black Sunday, Bloody Sundays album from Violent J, which you know you got to think about it. Like Violent J has the Wizard of Hood, The Shining, and then this one is a solo. I don't even call you can't. I don't know if you can call Wizard of Hood a solo album because everybody's on that shit and it tells us to have the Wizard of Oz, but everyone's on this album. Where The Shining felt more like a solo EP and stuff like this one, I think is his best solo EP. Like I love this album. It got me through when my grandpa had a scare. He had a bad scare right before this album came out, and this got me through those scary times. And then when he passed away, I think I had to own this. And Wakanda did something really nice for me. He even got me a Violent J jersey, worn by Violent J Bloody Sunday jersey, because I told him about my grandfather and stuff like that. But yeah, those are my collection. It's a lot, and it's still growing. It's still growing. We still got a lot more CDs to go, but I'm definitely a Juggalo librarian at this point when it comes to cinema music. I haven't got to non-Juggalo stuff yet either. I got Kendrick Lamar, but I still got to get the whole Wu-Tang first leg run where I have entered the 36. I need to get the Method Man, Jizza, Old Dirty Bastard, Ghostface, Raekwon. Against the first set, and then Wu-Tang Forever. Like those albums I just want to get because I like that run right there. Tupac, of course, some Ludacris. Like, yeah, I need it all. But hoping to be back on. I'll see if Humble wants to come back on and do off the tracks. I would like to hear how's he doing and stuff like that. I haven't talked to him in a minute. But I'm glad to be back. I'm not going to guarantee the next time I'll be back. I'm going to New York beginning of August. And then that's 2 weeks later to the Gathering. So a lot of people won't see me until the Gathering. I'll probably post something probably before the Gathering because Spider-Man's coming out, I think, next week. I'm seeing that Spider-Man movie. So when I see that Spider-Man movie, it's probably the next time I do it because I'm a big Spider-Man fan. But that's the show. We got a lot, 6 movies, and a lot of I'll show you my collection right here. That's not all the collection. I got Lazy and Crazy collection that went up a lot. I'm going through my closet, so there might be some stuff that I might be able to go they're gonna get put away or sold. I'll keep you posted on that. Next time I'll have my mom on here and we'll talk about a movie that we saw together before all this stuff happened, The Birdcage, but I just wanted to have her have a chance to talk about it before. I'm trying to rush here. So next time I'll try to bring my mom. We'll talk about that because I did promise her that, but I'm just trying to get this done. But yeah, that's the episode. We'll probably try to break down The Gathering a little bit more and see what the movies like because, like I said, there's a lot of movies going on this year at The Gathering, so it's like it's a perfect. I'm gonna go over the timeline and stuff like that, and we'll pick a day where I'm looking around where I'm gonna go to the movies, and maybe you can watch a movie with me at the movie tent. I think that's an idea. I got to look at the event one time, and I kind of mapped it out a little bit. I didn't map it out, just kind of see where everything's playing and stuff like that, and seeing how late I'm gonna be up on some nights, but it's gonna be hard to tell. But that's the show. Thank you for watching. This has been Whoops Up, Whoops Down, the Juggalo Movie Podcast, or where the fuck I want to call it. Much clown love. Have a good rest of the week, and I'll see you next time.